This video is focused on pattern to boundary. If you don't know how to draw a boundary already, then please go back and watch that video for detailed instructions on how to do that. I have already drawn a couple boundaries on my screen already, but you may be wondering, how did I get my puppy dogs in different orientations? Well, that's because boundaries also have a baseline, which is defined by the first two clicks. In CS7, it's very important to draw your boundary going counterclockwise. This is only important when using the pattern to boundary feature, and it's only visible when the orient baseline is selected for the pattern to boundary feature. Under the little triangle, which is also known as a caret, you can turn this on right next to the pattern to boundary icon. See right here, it says orient baseline, and I'm going to click that on. Now you will see exactly how I drew my boundary. The arrow shows the bottom of what the pattern is going to be when it is placed into your boundary. Notice the dog's feet is in the direction of the arrow. With this pattern, you won't see too much of a difference between standard and stretch, but you will notice that during stretch, the tail is a little bit closer to the top and the feet are a little bit closer. In this example, I'm going to show the difference between standard and stretch. Now, I think this person needs to go back to sewing school, but I made it an exaggerated example just to show the difference. I have my dog bone pattern highlighted, and when I highlight my boundary, and when I click on my pattern to boundary, notice how it kind of deforms it a little bit in the corners. That's what stretch does sometimes, so it's not always the best thing to use stretch on a pattern. So let's come and highlight this boundary. Click our caret and say standard, and then say pattern to boundary. Notice it's square, but it doesn't really fill in my corners that well. This is where your handles come in, and you can kind of play around with it a little bit. Now, I'm not going to take too much time right now, but you can see how you can maneuver your pattern a little bit, and it still kind of keeps the shape of your original one, instead of like stretch where it totally messes with the design.